Welcome to a new video dedicated to the new SPCMaker FPV eraser. This is probably the first 3-inch FPV eraser directly integrating the RunCam Split Mini. What does it mean? It means that simultaneously to broadcast the FPV signal in the 5.8 GHz band, you will be able to record in 1080p at 60 frames per second without extra latency. That's great, and into a 3-inch FPV eraser. So what we have also, we have some 1106 5500 kV motors, 4S compatible, 20 ampere up to 25 ampere ESC BLLES G-SHOT600 compatible, obviously. We have a buzzer, we have also an F4 omnibus board. Everything is here to have the best micro FPV brushless. But be aware with SPCMaker, they can produce excellent machines but also total fiasco machines with a lot of bugs. So let's discover right now the content of this box. Okay, here is the machine, and I already pre-installed the only 4 blades available in the packaging. So you will receive 10 M2s. I will give exact dimension of the props screws, so some 10 mm M2X screws, only 2 spare, but no spare of 3-inch props available in the bundle. They are all quite durable, some Gen 5 model, okay, and already pre-installed the unique band strap to attach the battery below. So here is the machine, and in the box, no instruction manual at all, especially for example to bind or to select the video frags, the video band and the output power. You have to know that we have here exactly on top we have a 40 channel 5.8 GHz video transmitter, and you can select either 25 milliwatts or 100 milliwatts as output power. On the rear side we have a central buzzer and 2 LEDs, okay, and out of the box with the Betafly 3.17 pre-installed, these LEDs lights are not pre-configured, so you will have to do your own configuration if, for example, you want to indicate turns and so on. On top, okay, we can find here for the FierceSky version the FierceSky XM Plus, okay, attached to the 5.8 GHz antenna via a zip ties. The 2.4 GHz antennas of the FierceSky XM Plus are pre-installed. Maybe you will need to install here to protect more the external extremity part of the 2.4 GHz antenna, some heat shrink tube to secure a little bit of them. So what we have an XT30 connector, that's good, and you can power typically this machine with such kind of 550 4S LiPo. It's great, and when everything is installed, I can immediately give the weight, the total weight. Okay, so we have something about 108 grams, and if we had the battery, we should turn about 168-69 grams. So we are far to be below the 250 grams, for example, for the US market. So the main novelty is here. You can recognize the orange color for the RunCam. Okay, we have 120 degrees of field of view. Well, you know, you have 2 field of view difference, one for the FPV analog part and one more for the 1080p. So, you know, for the 1080p recording, the field of view will be even more larger. So for the RunCam Split, you can see that on the design, on the frame, you have the 2 boards. The first one where you can, for example, update the firmware thanks to the micro USB port, and the lower, okay, here, where on the other side, okay, you can find the 2 buttons. So the first one here, the mode button, is to turn on or off the recording, okay, by short press on it, and the upper one, if you long press on it, you will be able to enter into the OSD or the RunCam. What I immediately regret with the SPCMaker, they missed something very important. On the front, you can guess here the connection of the video transmitter, or well, the camera to the video transmitter. So for example, you can find the ground, the +5 volts here completely on the right, and here the video signal. But you can guess also two free pads here, the RX and the TX, and they didn't connect them to the flight controller to one of the two free UART ports. It means that if the connection was there, you could control, for example, the recording thanks to a switch of your transmitter, or via another switch you can enter into the Runcam OSD menu and so on. They forgot to pre-install, to solder these two wires to the one of the free UART port available on the F4 board. It's, for me, a main drawback of the SPCMaker, why they didn't provide that. Second point, the video transmitter is cannot, for example, be controllable via smart audio or a TBS protocol. It's a drawback because it would have been great if also the VFrec V-band selection can be done. If you have a unique button, so the selection is more in sequence. So first of all, you will need to press 3 times, 3 seconds, this unique button, and you will have the red color LED will flash once, indicating that now you are in the VFrec selection in the current V-band. Then short press on it to cycle between the 8 available frequencies inside this current band. If you, when you are in VFrec selection and one more time you long press 3 seconds, you will see two red flashing lights indicating now that you are in V-band selection, okay, and then by short pressing you will cycle between the 5 different supported V-band. And finally, when you are in a V-band selection, if you long press one more time 3 seconds, you will be in output power selection. 3 red LEDs will flash. Then you will be able, by short press, either 25 milliwatts or 100 milliwatts. To exit, you will need one more time to press this button 3 times. Okay, so it's in a sequential selection. Okay, and it would have been great if this video transmitter supports at least one of the smart audio TBS protocol. Okay, it's like this. For the Runcam, you have to know that to insert the micro USB, you will need to gently press, already pre-insert one, press this, raise this metallic part, and then press on it like this to eject the current one. Okay, so to insert a new one, the connection bottom, okay, raise this metallic part, insert it until you hear the click. Okay, sometimes it's a bit tricky, but it can be done very easily, and until you hear a click. Okay, now it's down, and it's completely secure for the ejection thanks to this metallic part, so no real risk to see your micro SD card lost during a crash. For the F board, we have everything. So the 20 ampere Bell LES G-Shock 600 ESC, so supporting up to 25 amperes, so no problem for 4S power setup. In the middle, the F4 board, where, for example, you can find some free UART port on the rear side. So the first mode to do is probably to solder these two wires here and to insert them into the rear side, but it means that you will probably need to disassemble all the structure frames. So let's give some indication about the 3 key carbon frame. The main lower plate is, okay, I will pick up about 3 millimeters, okay, check that, 3 millimeters carbon plate. This vertical is 2 millimeters, and so on. So it sounds relatively solid, okay, it's not really flexible, so I'm confident about the durability of this frame. And as I said previously, I show, it's about 170 grams in total weight with a 4S 400 milliamps powers LiPo. The camera is well protected from frontal shocks, that's good, okay, and the diversity antenna may be a little bit too close to the 5.8 GHz antenna, so maybe this one can be installed more like this, more centrally. Okay, in any case, if you observe some interferences, good news. Okay, for the behind the buzzer, you have a capacity, okay, here to filter out You can guess here the main lead power go to the caps to filter out any motor interferences. So on the design, everything is here. Just my major concern is about the non-direct connection, no out-of-factory connection of the RunCam Split Mini to the flight controller to control it via the switch button. In any case, if it has been like this, you have to know that you need at least a Betaflight version 3.2 and superior, or with this one, it comes with an older one, 3.17, even not the branch 3.2. It's strange, okay, like this. And probably the first thing to do is to install a more recent Betaflight version, 3.3, for example, branch, in any case. So it's time to go to check the default Betaflight configuration. As I said previously, for the lights there is no specific optimization, and it's the same for the OSD, where we have just basic information. Not a lot of work has been done for the OSD and the light, but you will see that the PIDs and the receiver work is done. So you can find this machine in FearSky, okay, with S-Bus connection, or in FlySky for AFHDS2A protocol, also in iBus, kind of S-Bus connection. So let's check that now in Betaflight. Okay, so let's connect to Betaflight and immediately go to the CLI to check the current version install. So we have a very old one, 3.1.7, okay, so for Omnibus F4 SD, so with a built-in OSD. So as I said previously, if you want to enjoy the possibility to control the RunCam Split Mini, you need at least branch 3.2 of Betaflight to control your FPV 1080p camera. So as usual, strongly advise to dump everything. Okay, so type the dump command, either press recording here to save, or manually copy and paste all the information displayed in the CLI here, for example, and copy. Okay, copy everything and throw it into an empty text file, as I already did. Okay, and if you need to restore your original settings, just copy from this text file. Okay, throw and paste into the CLI, and don't forget to end with the save command. Okay, let's now have a look to the default settings. So I will reconnect, and immediately we can see that only the gyros accelerometers are here. It's more or less well leveled. Okay, and let's check the port. So we have only the unique UART1 serial turn on is for the FearSky XM Plus in S-Bus configuration. If you plan to connect the RunCam Split Mini, either you have the choice by the UART 3 or 6, you will need to go to the device here, but since it's not the right Betaflight version, you don't see the RunCam Split Mini option, only actually the DPS Smart Audio or ESC Trump. Okay, so let's continue. In configuration, we have a classic Quad X. D-Shot 600 is pre-selected by default. Okay, and the frequency actually is not pushing the machine very strongly, only 4% of usage, so 8 kilos, 2 kilos, so you can probably push a little bit more the main loop to 8 kilos. No specific board alignment. Okay, and let's continue. No name for the USD, so if you want to write something about S125 or your favorite nickname for racing, it's here. And here the receiver is pre-configured, so we have a serial-based receiver, and more particularly with S-Bus connection, so that's correct. And let's continue a little bit the show. We have the Let's Strip option turned on. The black box, not necessary, but you have the possibility to save some data, okay, on the black box if you want to optimize a little bit your PIDs. I will turn off this option. The SD card as well, okay, and I will turn off this one, and the OSD of course is here. So I will continue, and don't forget to press save command. Okay, and we are currently monitoring the VBAT, so I will press and reboot. Okay, it's done, and let's continue now with the other settings. So for the PIDs, as I said previously, they did a little job to optimize them. So as you can see, the P values are pretty low for the roll and pitch and pretty high for the yaw. The E value is very high in my point of view, but the D value pretty low. So the motors in 4S should be not so hot. Okay, they're only 5,500 kV. So at the end of your FPV station, the motor should be not so hot. I'm very impressed by the value of the super rate use. So we have close to 1,200 degrees per second at the extremity of your radio sticks. So with a very important value of 0.8. No specific values for the level strengths, and let's check the filter. Okay, in my point of view, I'm not sure they have been optimized specifically. So let's continue. Okay, and the TPA and the TPA breakpoint are the default one. For the receiver, I will turn on now the receiver. Okay, I already pre-bound the PSK and center all the first four channel to the value of 1,500. And a second bad surprise, you don't see any RSSI activities on the aux12 on the 16 channels. It means that the PSK XM Plus receiver is not flash with the compatible firmware exporting, at least for the on the aux channel, the RSSI. What a shame! So you won't be able out of the box to enjoy the RSSI feedback on your OSD. It's really a shame. It's so obvious to do that, and they forgot to do that. So one more time, SPCMaker, you rush too fast to sell your machine, and some little configuration optimization would have been great. I always advise to install and to write RC deadband or IR deadband of the value of 4. It's improving a little bit, smoothing a little bit your control sometimes. So I will save, okay. And if you plan to flash via, for example, your Taranis radio, the FirstCam XM Plus receiver firm with a firmware compatible with RSSI, you will need in general to use the aux12, okay, to enjoy the RSSI on your OSD. For the mode, as you can see, no specific flight mode optimization have been done except the arming done on the aux1. Okay, so for me, I will do more this job. For example, on a special switch, okay, I have, okay, and in order to arm more easily. But whatever the flight mode will be for me in more into the aux2 selection. So we'll add the air mode for acro, okay, and as well as the anti-gravity. But and I will select the aux2. Okay, but the angle mode will be more when this switch is in upper position and the horizon in the middle. I will apply more the selection of the arming when my aux1 will be in a lower position, and in the middle I will activate more the buzzer for hit, so in aux1. And now I will save that. So let's check that. It's beeping. Arming, okay, and I can select the horizon. So now when it's done, I've got the air mode anti-gravity turn on. Okay, so let's continue. We have the motors, no problem, the OSD, and check that. It's impressive that everything is absolutely have been not optimized, so it's a shame. So I will apply metrics, apply more in NTSC, and something about 550 mAh LiPo battery, about 5 minutes if you need to adjust the flight time. Okay, and I will remove these two settings like this, and more apply the RSSI, okay, somewhere, the main battery voltage somewhere around us as well, the crosshair, very important in my point of view. The flight time, okay, and I will also apply the throttle position, sometimes very useful, okay, and what you can do is also the flight mode as well, actually in the middle. So all the OSD settings are associated with the older Betaflight settings. So if you flash a new one, you will see much more OSD option available. That I will probably do in a few after this first part of the Betaflight configuration. For the LEDs, no miracle, nothing has been done. So you will need to, for example, to add the settings. So we will select, for example, this one the 0 and this one the 1. Okay, and select, and let's start. So for example, this one will be with color, and we will apply with for example, with warning, okay, or indicator like this. And for the second will be more or less the same for the color, and we will indicator. So let's save that. So we will see that it's inverted. Okay, so in fact you will need to be, the left one is a 1 and the right one is the 0. So we will need to display everything. Okay, so we will need to erase everything and re-select. Okay, so the 0 is this one and the 1 is this one, and let's do it one more time. Okay, so this one will be color. Okay, we will be, for example, we can associate with the throttle and the indicator. Okay, and this one will be color, will be associated with the throttle and as well an indicator. Let's save that, and now it's okay. We should be ready to go. So we did the tour of the default configuration of Betaflight. It's strongly advised to install a more recent one. Okay, and what we will do right now. Okay, so we will first attempt to flash the new Betaflight version on this F4 Omnibus SD OSD board. So you will need to select the last available one. So this is a Omnibus F4 with built-in OSD, and you can take the last stable version. Actually, the branch 3.4 start to emerge. Very important. You will probably need to check a little bit your device manager, okay, in order to install correctly STM bootloader compatible DFU driver. Okay, you can use, for example, Zadig will do that job, or directly the Taranis Windows driver also offer a DFU compatible driver. And it's very important to flash this board. You will need first to power with your LiPo the machine before to plug the USB into the machine. So I will power the machine, okay, thanks to the LiPo. Okay, and now I will insert the USB and I will load the last firmware available in the internet. And if everything is okay, when you will flash the machine, you should enter into the DFU mode. So the first time, beware, it will take a couple of seconds that the DFU mode will be active. Okay, don't worry for that. And after a couple of seconds on your system manager, you should see this driver, okay, and this one should be in DFU. Okay, so if it's not working like this, you can unconnect, okay, and reconnect everything and start to flash one more time. Oh, okay, disconnect the battery. Okay, and flash. Okay, now it's working. As you can see, you have to do this job quite fast. Okay, so after a couple of seconds, after connection of the battery and the USB, as you can see, is working. So it will erase first and flash the new stable firmware. So it's a little bit tricky, okay? Be sure to go fast when you plug the battery and press the flashing button. It will take a couple of seconds. Probably we need to first plug the battery because the back is not strong enough. You can hear the buzzer. Okay, now if I want, I can disable, remove the disconnect the battery. Okay, I'm ready to plug, and let's check that. We have the version 3.3.3. So what we have to do is to reconfigure everything. Okay, so in the port we have to turn on the serial. Okay, save. And let's return. And if you decide to control the macro split mini with the UART, now you can see you have the run can option available here. So I will activate it, but if actually I didn't did the soldering job. Okay, I will save. And let's continue the connection. And in the configuration, we have a quad X. Be sure to select dish axis 100. Okay. We can disable the bar meters and the manual meters. Okay. Let's keep the default or push to 4 kilos without any problem. No specific board alignment. Okay. And in terms of receiver, we have a serial one. Okay. And more particularly with S-bus connection. For the features, we can turn on the LED strip and the OSD. We're almost ready to go for this panel. Okay, and we will save that. Let's reconnect. For the battery, it's up to you. Okay, and for the default PIDs, okay, we can apply the same we had for this machine. Okay, so it was this one 18 60 21, so we will apply the same. (21), okay, and for the other 20 60 22. Okay, and for the YA we have 70 45. Okay, so this is the default one, and here we will probably increase the default one, something faster. I want something close to 900 degrees per second, so something like this. And for the YA, more something linear, I prefer. Okay. And something about 0.33. I will have something more linear. Okay, so it's done. For the receiver, everything's down here, and as you can see, I didn't flash yet the firmware on the FearSky XM Plus to export to the OSD the RSSI. We will apply whatever the 4-band. Okay, save it, and no problem. Okay, so let's continue with the flight mode. I will arm with the aux1 when this one is in upper position. Angle mode more for aux2, okay, and horizon in the aux2. And I will now add the anti-gravity for the acro mode as well as the air mode. For both, of course, the aux2. and the beeper will be added in the middle of aux1. Okay, so let's check that. Beeper is working, arming, okay, and I get the different flight mode available. So everything is here. If you have some extra button, okay, you can see now we have the new button to start recording or stop recording for the Runcam Split Mini, because we activated on the port section the Runcam protocol. For the OSD, okay, we will add the RSSI, okay, turn into NTSC, okay, and apply something for 500, and the main battery voltage. The RSSI will be pushed like this. The crosshair in the middle, the timer too, the flight mode. Okay, the throttle, and we can also apply the flight mode. Sorry, like this, and we will be not so bad. I will also update the fonts to the clarity one, much more larger, wider, can be seen much more easily on your favorite FPV goggles. Okay, so it's done, we're ready to go, and the last step to do is to configure the LEDs. So as I said previously, the 0 is the right one, so we have to click here, 0, then one here. So for the 0 will be a color with throttle and indicator of turning, okay, and the 1 will be color, throttle and indicator. You can save, and now everything will be with the throttle, okay, when you push the gas or left and right turning. So it's configured. So the two basic stuff to do is at least to flash the FearSky XM Plus with the compatible firmware exporting the RSSI, and of course, but it will be much more tricky because you have to disassemble almost all the machine, will be to link the Runcam two or three pads on the front to the UART6, for example, because I pre-selected the Runcam protocol on the UART6, but you can use UART3 if you prefer. So it's on. We will fly this machine actually in version 3.3, okay, and it means that I will actually have to manually press the trigger button to start to stop video recording. Let's go in the field right now. Welcome to the demo fly of the SPCMaker S125 with the Runcam Split Mini on board. So there is no direct connection out of the box with the flight controller to the Runcam Split Mini. You will have to trigger the recording by the upper button, short press to start, or one more time short press to stop recording. Another thing, if you attempt to flash directly without desoldering the FearSky XM Plus, is not working due to some problem of power unit or the flight controller behind. So you will need this definitively to desolder first these three wires on the nearby the micro USB plug to flash the new firmware. So I will fly this machine without RSSI feedback and manually triggering the video recording, and but I will fly with Betafly 3.3, okay, but with the default PID setting associated with the 3.117. So I will fly with the Jumper V2 Plus, okay, and record the FPV feedback thanks to my Armware Commander V2. Let's go. First in lost condition. Okay, so I will power the machine in 4S configuration, okay, and gently here press the upper button, okay. I will install like this, turn on my radio to bind the machine, Should be done. It's done. And then I will press the recording. When you turn on the first time, it's auto recording. Okay. Just press one more time to stop, and now I will record. It's flashing blue light here, so it's okay. I will attend first in a lost condition in 6-axis stabilized angle mode. Let's go. I will have. Let's go. Wow, it's powerful machine for sure. Okay. Yes, pretty nice machine. It's ultra powerful. You can handle the throttle from 20-25%. You can feel a lot of power. So let's give you a punch test. 1, 2, 3, go. Wow, it's super fast. You heard the load, the beeper and the load, so the battery. And as you can see, the left and right turning are working. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's continue more in FPV right now. Short conclusion about the S125. Well, this one is a great flyer, very powerful and pressed, and is almost the same amount of the Yachin Lizard 105S. What I really like is the Run Can Split Mini, offering a great and bright image. Colorful rendition is great, and really I like it, and you don't feel any extra latency associated with the 180p built-in DVR. The field of view is maybe a little bit limited, it's not wide as usual for FPV racing, so you have to be accustomed with. So it's powerful with the 550 mAh for S LiPo. You can expect about 3 minutes and a half. Flight time is not among the best, but it's not so bad. No extra vibration can be felt on the FPV rendition, as well on the 1080p recordings. Is relatively well isolated, and no drift is observed also in angle mode. So they really solved their first attempt to integrate a F4 board for SPCMaker at least. The control range is great, and the FPV range as well, thanks to the Sky XM Plus. So I cannot award this machine with the new Sebitokli award. Why? Because for me SPCMaker was lazy for 2 points. First of all, they didn't take 2 minutes to flash the Sky version with the RSSI compatible firmware. It's really, I don't understand why it's to be so lazy. And the second one, they didn't pre-solder 2 wires from the TX RX output from the Runcam Split Mini to the for example UART6 or UART3 on the F4 boards. That's really a drawback, because you could in this case control the recording and the OSD of the Runcam through a dedicated switch on your radio. If these two options were there out of the box, I would definitively discern award this machine with a very good, one of the best 3-inch micro FPV racer, and the first one introducing the 1080p built-in camera. So really nice machine, but not perfect. Really. So if you want to apply these two little fix, you will need to disassemble the machine, and it's not completely obvious. You will need to remove all the lateral screws, and to remove the Runcam Split Mini, can be a little bit dangerous, especially for the main ribbon cable. So be aware of that. It can be very fragile when you will manipulate it. So SPCMaker, maybe in the next batch you will solve what I'm currently mentioning, but the first batch unfortunately deserves these 2 small drawbacks. Except that I recommend this machine in any case, because it's a really nice machine, and it's not so drama to trigger the recording with your fingers, instead of a radio switch. Okay, I hope you like this new review. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.